Hello, everyone. Wobbly Draft here. I'm going to make a quick short video update on an article that affects this sector that I'm invested in. Okay, so let's jump right into it. I'm going to go ahead and share this article. So this article is titled "Yellen Outlines to Congress Emergency Measures on the Debt Limit," and it came out maybe today, recently, Friday. So yesterday. Wait, yeah, yesterday. Okay, and this is Janet Yellen, who was the Fed chair a little bit ago under Obama. Now she's the Treasury Secretary under Biden. Okay. She was very much in charge for a while of the continuing quantitative easing program, which basically just throw a bunch of money at big businesses and hope for the best, right? That's how a lot of people describe that. Very corrupt. So Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen told Congress on Friday that she will start taking emergency measures next week to keep the government from an unprecedented default on the national debt. Unprecedented. So we never defaulted on our debt. Warning that default would cause irreparable harm to the U.S. economy and the livelihoods of all Americans. In a letter to House and Senate leaders, Yellen said her actions will buy time until Congress can pass legislation to either raise the debt limit, which has happened many, many times before, or suspend it again for a period of time. The debt limit has been suspended for the past 2 years, but will go back into effect on July 31st. The total debt subject to the limit currently stands at $28.4 trillion. It's a lot of money. Yellen said her first move on July 30th, which is, I believe, 1 week from today, a little less, so next Friday, will be to suspend the sale of state and local government securities. So the federal government will essentially give money to New York City, California, that sort of thing, or a specific city, right, in California. So San Francisco, just an example. And they're used by local jurisdictions, the city or the state, to meet some of their financing needs, but increase the level of debt held by the federal government. So then taxpayers in other states might be liable for that sort of thing. If Congress has not acted to either raise the debt limit or suspend it by August 2nd, Yellen says she will be taking certain additional extraordinary measures in order to prevent the United States from defaulting on its obligations. In her letter, Yellen noted that even the threat of a debt default, something that the United States has never done, triggered the country's first ever credit downgrade. So even her talking about this is going to cause most likely some sort of economic instability for a while, probably raise volatility here and there. That came during a standoff between Republicans, Congress, and the Obama administration in 2011, when the Standard & Poor's credit rating agency downgraded its rating on a portion of U.S. debt. Now, something that happened during that same time frame was essentially the Greek debt crisis and a lot of kind of that fallout over in Europe. This is why no president or Treasury Secretary of either party has ever countenanced even the suggestion of a default on any obligation in the United States, she wrote. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, Republican of Kentucky, threatened this week that all the Republican senators would vote against extending the government borrowing authority. He cited objections to President Joe Biden's plans for boosting domestic spending and raising taxes on the rich. If that occurred, Senate Democrats would lack the 10 GOP supporters they need to overcome a Republican filibuster or delaying tactics and move such language to the 50-50 Senate with 60 votes. Democrats haven't yet decided on a legislative strategy to deal with a debt limit impasse. Her letter could steer them toward providing a provision extending the debt limit into a bill Congress will have to approve before October 1st. So what, like about a little over 2 months from now, to prevent a government shutdown that day. Now, we've had a government shutdown before, right? The regular spending bills financing federal agencies for the fiscal year that began October 1st are likely to have been enacted by then. Okay. Most politicians are adverse to being blamed for shutdowns, defaults, etc., especially heading into an election year. Responding to Mitch McConnell's comments this week, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, a Democrat of New York, called them quote unquote shameless, cynical, and totally political. Yellen's reference to the use of extraordinary measures to allow the government to keep borrowing to meet its debt service obligations and make payments on such benefits as Social Security refers to a variety of bookkeeping measures past Treasury secretaries have used. Those include disinvesting funds from accounts that pay pension benefits to government workers. So say you work at like the DEA or something like that, right? They would disinvest money from their retirement funds or the pension benefit funds. Once the debt ceiling is dealt with, the funds that have been divested from various government accounts are replaced. So once they either raise the debt ceiling limit or some other sort of compromise, those government agencies, i.e. the DEA, et cetera, will then have their pension funds replaced. Yellen said the unusual circumstances surrounding the response to the COVID-19 pandemic made it hard to predict when she will run out of maneuvering room. Her ability to keep borrowing might come to an end soon after Congress returns after its August recess. Okay. Particular challenge will come on October 1st when government resources are expected to decline by about $150 billion due to large mandatory payments, including a required investment for Department of Defense related retirement and healthcare support. Okay. That's kind of a big deal as well. You know, vets might not necessarily get the healthcare they need. 150 billion away from that. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki said Friday that the government has never allowed a debt default in our history, right? Which she said would be a quote unquote catastrophic event. That's huge, right? We definitely have had very rough times with our debt in the history of this country. Revolutionary War, Civil War, probably in the 1970s, and there's never a clean solution to that sort of thing. We expect Congress to act promptly to raise or suspend the debt limit and protect the full faith and credit in the United States, Psaki told reporters. Okay, so very interesting article, and it looks like this is a uncharted territory almost for most regular Americans. So there is that. One thing I wanted to bring up is the U.S. debt clock. Okay. And we have this, okay? So the US national debt per that article is about 28.5 trillion and growing. We pay almost $4 trillion in interest. The total debt, right? So including some of the things that aren't necessarily like accounted for, I guess, directly in the books, $85 trillion in debt, $85 trillion in debt, which is, that's a lot. What else? Social Security liability. I believe this is $21 trillion. So hundreds, thousands, millions, billions, trillions, $21 trillion in Social Security liability. $33 trillion in Medicare liability. Essentially, we have 153 trillion in unfunded liabilities. You can see here the liability per citizen, if we were to try to pay off all of our debt, is close to $500,000 per citizen. I don't have that money. I don't think most people do. Okay. The state debt, so what's owned by, say, Florida, Georgia, New York, California, Washington, Texas, et cetera, is what, 1.2 trillion. So hundreds, thousands, millions, billions, trillions. So 1.2 trillion. The local debt, so this could be states. This might just be like your county, your borough, your parish, is $2.1 trillion. I mean, even those are pretty high. I don't know if that is calculated in here. That might be just national, but even those are pretty high. Most Americans couldn't necessarily afford that, although, you know, I'm sure there's some boroughs, parishes, counties that might not be in debt. So there is that. Either way, it's a whole lot of red. Let's put it that way, right? And our gross domestic product, GDP, so that's all our goods and services if they're converted to a dollar amount, is so hundreds, thousands, millions, billions, trillions, $22.2 trillion. So our national debt, right, is above our like total economic value. Let's see. Let's look up US GDP real quick. I don't know what a third estimate is, but I don't want it growth by, what's our total? Yeah, it's definitely bouncing around like a ping pong ball. Let's do nominal GDP. Here we go. This might do something. What is this? Is this in trillions? Can I just get a number? Our nominal GDP, why you're only saying 5 trillion, we definitely have more money than that. Oh, I guess that's what it went up by. I'm trying to see, like, why are you saying? Can I get a total, please? So, so it's in millions. So, can I just get a number, please? I don't want to have to do a bunch of zeros. Let's see, I mean, that should be a rather easy number to find. So we're greater than 20 trillion, obviously. What are we currently standing at? 22 trillion. Yeah, so the debt clock was spot on there, 22 plus trillion dollars. Yeah, but our debt outweighs our entire economy. So that's not good, especially if we default on that. That's going to cause a lot of chaos. And something to build on, right? Why this affects, I'm going to stop my screen share since I kind of covered the technical points of this video. The reason why this is important is if the government were to default or at least experience a credit downgrade or go through, at the very least, some of this economic instability that this sort of episode could cause, you'll see kind of a lot of issues happen with dollar, right? So let's say we had like a major credit downgrade, just as an example. That would mean other countries could be less likely to want to trade with us or exchange loans, that sort of thing, right? So the dollar internationally loses some of its value. And in that case, we essentially have a dollar of less value, right? And this is something that could be one, not that it necessarily will be, could be a catalyst of kind of the flight to hard currencies, right? Inflation's already going up. It's only going more up as far as I could tell. There seemed to be a brief kind of transitory period of the inflation, which Jerome Powell pointed out, the current Fed chair. It does seem to be returning, in my opinion. And so we have a lot of these economic factors and potential catalysts for a flight to precious metals. And that's why I'm fully invested in silver. And that's kind of why I want to talk about these news articles somewhat. Commodities, and in this case, since silver, I think, has more of a bull run ahead of it, do become essentially a safe hedge or just a safe position to have in times such as this, where there is a lot of very uncertain events occurring. First and foremost, either uncertain events where we're not sure what's going to happen, like do we default? That would be huge. Do we get a credit downgrade? That would be huge, right? There's a lot of uncertainty there. But then also a lot of negative economic events occur, right? So just taking that currency or credit downgrade or credit default, both of those are huge, but also generally bad events. And that's when people fly to gold and silver. And then the thing is Janet Yellen was in charge of a lot of the quantitative easing. So I find it funny, ironic, not funny. It's not funny at all. I find it ironic that she's kind of in charge of trying to fix this because she's one of the main reasons this is going on. Ben Bernanke being another one. Both, I believe, I think most people would agree, very corrupt people that threw money at all the big businesses in this country at very low interest rates. And now we have a high debt and we're facing inflation. And, I think them and Alan Greenspan, so the past 3 Fed chairs before Jerome Powell, are very much to blame in that regard because they kept interest rates way too low for way too long. And we saw these bubbles 2001, 2007, 2008, and now whatever this is going to turn out to be occur. So you're looking at what that's, Alan Greenspan has been around since like the mid 80s, maybe a little later, maybe early 90s. I'd have to look that up, but he's been around. He's the longest serving Fed chair. So you're looking at what, three longer, if we want to be honest, taking out Paul Volcker before him, you had the 70s. But you're looking at decades of essentially monetary mismanagement in this country kind of coming to a head. And the lady in charge of it caused a lot of it. So, yay, that's not good. Now, there are the plays to essentially protect yourself in this example. And one of those is silver. And in my case, it's a specific silver mining company. Okay. Once again, I'm kind of refinishing up my research. I really like Silvercrest metals. I have remade and actually built on some of my previous research in terms of why a couple of those companies I really didn't like. I've made a strong case for why I don't like Fresnillo. What was the other one? Mavericks Metals. I don't know if I uploaded that video yet. Might have to redo that. I think I did. I could be wrong on that. And then I also didn't like another one that was mainly based in China, which bad human rights. They're having a shortage of coal. The political system's wonky at best. And they don't necessarily tell the truth about their accounting numbers. So that was 3 businesses out of, I think I had 10 to like 12, maybe 15 at most companies I was looking at. That's 3 of them gone for very good reasons. So yeah, I just want to give an update, read the news a little bit. I do like these videos as well. I think people generally should try to follow the economic news in the country, not just because they can make money off of it, which is the case here, but it also helps everyone in terms of having better government, right? Better civics, what have you. And this is something I feel like most people can get behind because it's going to affect everyone negatively in general, unless they play defensively, right? Which once again, that goes back to silver. So that's how that works. That's the end of the video. I'll see y'all around. I'm going to keep doing my research and just keep doing the updates on it. I kind of like these small daily, maybe bi-daily, take a break every so often updates. So hopefully you found this video educational. Hopefully you found it interesting. Hopefully it encourages you to learn more about this stuff and kind of follow it from now on. Remember, right, this channel first and foremost is for education and the investment opportunity that I really like. So yeah, there's that. If you like this, please share this with your friends. It's free. I don't think there's ads on it. If there are, I don't make money. And I'll try and turn them off if there are. I don't think I've made any money on it. Haven't had enough views. Don't want a ton of views either. But I'll take a lot of views. We'll make money off of it. Anyhow, too tired. On that note, have a good one. I'll see y'all. See you around. Bye-bye.